You slept, but still woke up tired. Not just physically, something deeper, like your mind never really turned off. And maybe, if you're honest, this isn't new. It's a pattern you've been noticing for a long time. Maybe you've been thinking, why does this keep happening to me? The same arguments, the same stress around money, the same heavy emotions that seem to come out of nowhere. And part of you hates it, because you've seen this before. In your parents, maybe even your grandparents. You told yourself you'd be different. You swore you wouldn't repeat it. But somehow, here you are, standing in a story that feels strangely familiar. And that's the part that's hard to say out loud. This might not have started with you. Not everything you carry was chosen by you. Some patterns were modeled. Some were spoken. Some were silently passed down through pain, through survival, through things no one ever healed. And it can feel confusing, because you're trying to fight something without fully understanding what it is. But here's the truth. Gently, you're not crazy for feeling this. You're not weak for struggling with this. You're aware. And awareness is where breakthrough begins. Before anything changes, you have to see it clearly, not with shame, but with honesty. So just sit with this for a second. There is a pattern, and you're the one noticing it, and that matters more than you think. Let me ask you something, gently. What is the one thing you promised yourself you would never become? Maybe it's the anger, the way your voice changes when you're overwhelmed, or how you shut down when things get too heavy. Maybe it's not loud at all. Maybe it's the quiet patterns, avoiding, overthinking, feeling like you're never enough no matter how hard you try. And you've caught yourself doing it, in a moment you didn't plan, in a reaction that felt too familiar. That realization can sting, because it feels like you failed some silent promise you made to yourself a long time ago. Like no matter how hard you try, something keeps pulling you back into the same cycle. But hear this, slowly. Your past explains you, but it does not have the right to define you. Just because you learned it doesn't mean you're locked into it. Just because it showed up in your family doesn't mean it gets to live through you. Pause here for a second. You're not stuck. You're standing at a moment of choice. And this moment, this awareness right now, this is where the cycle begins to break. There's something you may not have been told clearly. Not every pattern in your life is just psychological. Some things feel deeper, heavier, like they've been reinforced over time. Words spoken,
Moments repata.
labels that quietly attach themselves to your identity. And after a while, those things don't just feel like experiences anymore. They start to feel like truth. Maybe you've been carrying words like, "This is just who I am, this runs in my family, people like me don't change." And part of you believed it, not because you wanted to, but because you heard it enough times that it settled somewhere inside you. But here's where something shifts. The name of Jesus Christ is not just comfort. It carries authority, not loud, not forceful, but real. Because in Him, every label that was placed on you without truth begins to lose its hold. Every word spoken over your life that tried to limit you starts to fall apart. Not instantly in your emotions, but decisively in your spirit. And this is where breakthrough begins. Not by fighting harder, but by standing in something stronger than what you inherited. You don't have to outwork the pattern. You don't have to prove yourself free. You receive it, because what He did wasn't partial. It was complete. So those old scripts, those inherited expectations, they don't get the final say anymore. And maybe you're just starting to feel it now, something loosening, something shifting quietly inside you, like a door that was always locked is finally starting to open. Now we move gently into action, not loud, not aggressive, but intentional, because awareness alone doesn't break a pattern. There has to be a moment where you decide it no longer gets permission to stay. And this part might feel unfamiliar, maybe even a little uncomfortable, but it's powerful in a quiet, steady way. You're not begging for change here. You're taking back authority over what has been sitting in your life unchallenged. So stay with me, right where you are. You can whisper it, or just say it in your heart. I cancel every assignment that was never meant for me. Say it again, slower this time. I cancel every assignment that was never meant for me. You're not denying your past. You're not pretending it didn't happen. You're choosing that it doesn't get to continue. Every word spoken over your life in anger, every expectation that tried to box you in, every unseen pressure that followed your family line stops being active here, not because you forced it out, but because you no longer agree with it. And that matters more than you realize. Agreement gives things permission, and right now you're withdrawing that permission. Just breathe for a moment. Something is shifting, quietly, but deeply, and this is where the break begins. Now we go a little deeper, because canceling the assignment is powerful, but sometimes there are still patterns that try to linger in the background, not as loud, but still present. And you've probably felt that. Moments where you thought you were past it, and then suddenly it shows up again. The same reaction, the same pull, the same heaviness. That's not failure. That's exposure. It's showing you where something still has a foothold. Maybe it's anger that rises faster than you expect, or habits that numb you when things feel overwhelming, or a quiet belief that you'll never fully get ahead, no matter how hard you try. Just notice it, not with judgment, but with clarity, because you can't release what you refuse to name. So softly, identify it now. What is the pattern? Still trying to stay. Now bring it into the light. You can say, I release every attachment to this pattern. It no longer has authority in me. Slowly, again, I release every attachment to this pattern. You're not fighting yourself. You're separating from what was never truly you. That anger, that fear, that cycle, it may have visited you, but it does not belong to you. And as you say this, something begins to loosen, not all at once, but enough for you to feel it. A little more space, a little more control, a little more peace. And that's how breakthrough happens. Not in one loud moment, but in quiet layers of release. Now we shift again, because it's not enough to remove what was heavy. You were never meant to live empty. You were meant to be filled with something steady, something life-giving. And maybe this is new for you. The idea that you can choose what continues through your life. That your story doesn't just come from your past. It can be anchored in something higher. There's a quiet promise in Psalm 61. A heritage not built on pain, but on those who walk with God. Not perfect people, just people who chose to stay connected, even when life felt uncertain. And that promise is available to you now. So gently receive it. You can say, I step into a new heritage of peace. I receive what God has prepared for me. Slowly, let it settle. I step into a new heritage of peace. This is where alignment begins. Not forced, not rushed, but real. You're not just breaking a cycle. You're building something new in its place. A different response, a different atmosphere, a different future that doesn't echo the past. And maybe you can feel it, a quiet shift in how you see yourself, less tied to what was, and more open to what can be. Hold this thought gently. The cycle stops with you. Now, we protect what's changing, because something has shifted in you. And when something new begins, it needs space to grow without being pulled back into old patterns. This isn't about fear. It's about covering what matters. Think of it like this. You're drawing a line. Not harsh, not defensive, just clear. The past doesn't get unlimited access anymore. So gently picture your life for a moment. Your mind, your home, the people you love. And now, imagine a quiet covering over it. A presence that stands steady and calm. Not loud, but unshakable. You can say, I place peace over my life. I cover my home with protection and light. Slowly, again, I place peace over my life. This isn't about controlling everything. It's about creating an atmosphere where old cycles can't easily return, where anger doesn't take over as quickly, where fear doesn't settle as deeply, where what you're building has room to stay. And if you have children or people you care about, just hold them in your thoughts for a second. You're not just doing this for you. You're creating a boundary that the past cannot cross. A quiet, firm line, and on your side of that line, there is peace. There is protection. There is a new beginning holding steady. Now we keep this steady, not with pressure, not with perfection, just with something small and consistent. Because real change doesn't come from one moment. It comes from what you return to daily. So this is simple. You can do this in the morning, while you're brushing your teeth, or standing in the shower, before the day fully begins. Just take a quiet breath and say, today, I walk in peace. I am no longer tied to the past. I am aligned with what God is doing in my life. Slowly, once more, today, I walk in peace. You don't have to feel it perfectly. You don't have to force anything. Just show up, because every time you say it, you're reinforcing what's already begun. And over time, gently, quietly, this becomes your new normal. Not something you fight for, but something you live from. Stay here for a moment. No rush. No pressure to move on yet. Just let yourself be fully present. Right here. Because something real has been happening inside you. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady. Like something that was tight is finally starting to loosen. So now we bring it all together. Just breathe in slowly. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. God, you see everything this person has been carrying. The patterns they didn't choose. The weight they've been trying to break. Quietly, for so long. And right now, we bring all of it to you. Not perfectly, just honestly. Every cycle, every label, every inherited pain, we place it in your hands, and we release it. Let this be the moment where something truly shifts, where what once followed them loses its grip completely, where peace begins to settle deeper than before, not temporary, but lasting. God, cover their mind with calm, steady their emotions, restore what has been drained over time, and bring them back into alignment with your peace. And now, gently, I want you to take part in this. If you can, type this in the comments, or whisper it where you are. I break every negative cycle. It stops with me. Again, slowly. I break every negative cycle. It stops with me. You're not saying this alone. Something is backing you. Something is standing with you. And from this moment forward, you are not repeating the past. You are stepping into something new. A new pattern. A new atmosphere. A new sense of peace that doesn't leave as easily as before. Just sit with that for a second. Something has shifted, and this time, it's staying. Before you go, just notice how you feel. Not perfect, but maybe a little lighter, a little more clear than when you started. That matters, because this isn't just a moment. It's the beginning of something you can return to again and again. If this time helped you, you don't have to do this alone. You can stay connected here, a place where peace is practiced, not rushed. And if you feel it, gently take one small step. Subscribe so you have a space to come back to when things feel heavy again. And you need to realign. You're not behind. You're in the middle of a shift. And from here, your life begins to move differently. Quietly, but truly. Estimated duration. 1 minute. Target words. 100. Stay a few seconds longer. No need to rush back into everything. Let this settle gently, like your body is catching up to what just shifted inside you. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to prove it. Just notice the quiet and let it be enough for now. Later today, something might try to pull you back. An old reaction, a familiar thought, and when it does, just pause. One breath, one small return. Peace is still mine. You're not starting over. You're continuing forward. And even if it feels subtle, this is how a new life begins to take shape. Quietly, consistently, from the inside out. Estimated duration. 0.5 minutes. Target words. 70. And now gently, you can let go of this moment. Not because it's over, but because it's already planted inside you. You don't need to carry every word. Just carry the peace that stayed. Whatever you walk back into today, you won't meet it the same way. Something in you is steadier, quieter, stronger, without trying so hard. God is with you even there, and the cycle you were worried about, it doesn't get the final word anymore. You do, and this time you re-choosing peace.